She stared at the ceiling again. The cracks were still there. Every night, they seemed to grow just a little wider, like deep, dark veins spreading across the plaster. They felt like they were listening, like they remembered everything that happened in this room. Another night, another apology whispered into the sound of the rain outside. Another promise she made to herself that morning would be different. Abigail closed her eyes, her hand resting gently on her stomach. "Carry me," she whispered. It wasn't a plea to anyone in the room, but to the tiny, flickering ember of hope that refused to die inside her. Morning always came, but love never did. By day, her husband was a respected man, successful, charismatic, the kind of man people admired, even envied. In courtrooms and boardrooms, his name commanded fear and respect in equal measure. People said he never lost a case, that he was brilliant, untouchable, a force of nature. But at home, he was a stranger. Here, behind closed doors, his words became weapons, sharp and precise. His anger was a storm, unpredictable and terrifying. And his hands were cruel. Over the years, Abigail learned to hide. She mastered the art of smiling through bruises, both the visible ones and the ones that shattered her on the inside. She learned how to lie to concerned friends, to family members who asked questions over the phone. "I'm fine, just clumsy," she'd say. She learned to swallow her pain before it could reach her lips and form a scream. And she learned to lose babies in silence. This was the third. Each time, the loss was a silent, private funeral. And each time, she told herself the same lie, the same desperate prayer. Maybe if I try harder, maybe if I'm better, he'll love me. That same night, while Abigail wrestled with her grief, champagne glasses clinked in a lavish office downtown. Cheers and laughter filled the room as lawyers from his firm celebrated yet another high-profile victory. "This is a huge win," one of them shouted over the noise. "A win for all of us." At the center of it all stood him, confident, proud, untouchable. He looked every bit the conqueror. He raised his glass, a calm, satisfied smile playing on his lips. "Any case my firm handles," he said, his voice cutting through the chatter. "We win. We will never lose. Not today. Not tomorrow. Not ever." The room erupted in laughter and applause. Power looked good on him. To good. Back home, in their cold, silent house, Abigail stood weakly in the kitchen. The food she had so carefully prepared had gone cold on the counter. She had made what he asked for earlier that day: jollof rice, grilled chicken. Simple, his favorite. But when he finally arrived, long after midnight, drunk on victory and ego, it wasn't enough. His eyes scanned the table with disdain. "I've changed my mind," he snapped, tossing his briefcase onto a chair. "I want pounded yam, cow leg soup." Abigail's heart sank. "It's late," she said quietly, her voice barely a whisper. "The market is closed. I'm pregnant." That was when his face changed. The mask of the celebrated lawyer fell away, replaced by something cold and hard. "Are you questioning my authority in my own house?" The room went silent. The air grew thick, heavy with a familiar dread. Minutes later, Abigail lay curled on the cold kitchen floor, her arms wrapped tightly around her stomach, hot tears soaking into the tiles. Another night, another storm, another child lost. To the world, he remained perfect, a pillar of the community, but to Abigail, he was a monster, and she told no one, except she did tell one person, her sister, Lucy. Lucy arrived a few weeks later, a whirlwind of life and laughter that felt alien in the suffocating quiet of the house. She hugged Abigail tightly, a long, warm embrace, and immediately sensed that something was deeply wrong. The light in her sister's eyes was gone. "You're glowing," Lucy said softly, forcing a smile, trying to inject some warmth into the air. "Pregnancy looks so good on you." Abigail's lips trembled, and the carefully constructed dam she had built around her heart finally broke. "I lost it," she choked out. In that moment, the room, the world, everything seemed to collapse around them. Lucy held her sister as she cried, her body racked with sobs that carried years of unspoken pain. She whispered prayers, promises, and words of hope. She didn't push for details. She didn't question. She just stayed, a silent, steady presence in the chaos of Abigail's life. But she stayed too long, according to him. That night, he came home and his eyes fell on Lucy with cold fury. He demanded she leave. Immediately. There were no explanations, no mercy. Just a cold, hard command. Abigail watched silently as her sister packed her bags, fear and confusion written all over her face. As Lucy walked out the door, Abigail whispered, I'll call you." But she never did. She couldn't. The days that followed were a blur of silence and fear. Lucy, staying with a friend, tried to move on, but she couldn't shake the heavy unease in her chest. She had a gut feeling that something was terribly, terribly wrong. And then the call came. In the dead of night, a shrill ring that sliced through the darkness. A strange voice on the other end. "Lucy, your sister is dead." The world stopped turning. The air left her lungs. At the police station, he told his story with a chilling calmness. He painted a picture of a wife who was unstable, disturbed. She was bipolar, he said, his voice laced with practiced sorrow. "She became erratic. She attacked me with a knife." He paused, letting the lie settle in the air. "It was an accident, a terrible accident. She slipped during the struggle, hit her head on the fireplace. I tried to save her. I swear, I tried." Lucy screamed, a raw, animal sound of pure agony and disbelief. Nothing made sense. The sister she had left just weeks ago was broken, yes, but she wasn't violent. She wasn't dangerous. She wasn't mad. She was just afraid, so incredibly tired, and so terribly silent. At the morgue, the cold, sterile room felt like a tomb. When Lucy saw her sister's body lying on the metal slab, her legs gave out from under her. She collapsed, her grief too heavy to carry. As she looked at Abigail's peaceful, yet broken face, she thought of the cracks in the ceiling of that house. It felt like they had followed her here, to this final, cold place. This time, they would never close. The silence that had defined Abigail's life had now become permanent, a void that would haunt them all. If you or someone you know is experiencing a similar situation, please know that you are not alone and help is available. You can reach out to the National Domestic Violence Hotline or find local resources in your area. Your safety is the most important thing. Please take care.